Communication training with Stan O'Connor.
I'd like to start out this week talking about a strategy that can help you get the real answer to the question that you're asking if you're asking a question designed to find out how someone would respond in a certain situation. For example, let's say that you're dating somebody and you'd like to know what kind of a spouse they might make or a long-term partner they might make, or let's say that you're at work and you need to hire somebody and you want to know how they are going to deal with the challenges that they'll be faced with at work. What I'd like you to learn today is a process called the behavior predictor. This is a systematic approach to asking questions that helps you get the answer that you're looking for when you're asking a question that is designed to discover what someone's future behavior will most likely be. The behavior predictor is designed to help us ask questions in a way that gets the real answer when we're looking to predict someone's future behavior. For example, let's say that in a job interview situation, if you're the one who's interviewing, if you were to ask somebody a question such as, so tell me about your goals, people tend to respond in a way that's like this. They'll tend to say things like, well, I'm a big believer in goals. I'm a big goal setter. I set goals and I achieve them. Goals, goals, goals. You know what I mean? Now, if you're looking to predict someone's future behavior, or for example, let's say that you are dating somebody and you'd like to know what type of a partner or a spouse they'd be, don't just ask people questions such as, well, tell me how you deal with conflict. Because what people will tend to say is something along the lines of, oh, well, when conflict arises, I like to communicate with my partner because really communication is the key to any relationship. Don't you think? And we'll think, oh, isn't that nice? They're a communicator. Then you have a conflict, and what their true behavior is will be revealed during that conflict. That said, the behavior predictor is based on the well-known human behavior fact that past behavior is what is going to most accurately predict future behavior, right? So if you're going to ask somebody a question that is intended to discover how they are going to react in a variety of different circumstances or in any given situation, what you want to do is use a simple 3-step process. Step number 1, you want to ask them about a specific situation that happened to them in the past. Step number 2, you want to ask them how they reacted initially to that situation. And step number 3, you want to ask them how they resolved that situation. For example, instead of simply saying something such as, so how do you feel about goals? Or are you a goal setter? You want to ask something more along these lines. Tell me about a time in the past where you set a goal, how you went about achieving it, and how close you came to achieving that goal. Or, tell me about a time when conflict arose between you and one of your coworkers, how you reacted to that conflict, and how you eventually worked through that conflict. Or, tell me about a time in a past relationship where you found something out about your partner that you didn't like, how you reacted to that, and how you eventually worked through that issue. Because when you ask questions like that, you will cause someone to pause and think, okay, let me think about a specific goal that I set. What did I do and how did I achieve it? Or they'll tell you about a specific problem that arose between them and a coworker, how they reacted to it, and then the steps they took to eventually work through that issue. Or in a relationship, that's when you're really going to find out what they're most likely to do when that same challenge arises with you. Because although we might like to think, oh, I'm a changed person, I've grown a lot, we may learn strategies such as the ones we are learning now, but the pattern that we have in our life, how we tend to confront problems and either work through them or not work through them, that is going to be a really solid pattern that's going to stick with us generally through our entire life. For example, if somebody says to you, well, I remember one time my girlfriend asked me to grab her checkbook for her and write out a check for one of the bills. And when I did so, I found out that she had been sending money to an ex-boyfriend because of some arrangement that they had made. And you were to say, oh, how did you react to that? Well, I dumped her immediately. Then you know that the person that you're with right now is, instead of going to try and understand and work through challenges that you have, what they're going to do is be very rule driven. And when they see something they don't like, that's going to be the end of your relationship. Or if they say, for example, something such as, well, I found out that my girlfriend lied to me about the status of her checking account. She said that she had so much money in it, and come to find out she was bankrupt and behind on her bills. And you were to say, well, what did you do about that? And that person were to say to you, well, I took her to a class that I found very helpful when it came to financial management and helped her take charge of her finances, and she's been great ever since. Then you know that that somebody is going to try and work through problems with you. If it's at work and you find out that, for example, let's say that you said, how did you work through a problem with a coworker? And somebody were to say, well, we were sitting at lunch and they insulted me in front of my peers. And so I showed them who was boss, and I came back with a really great comeback, and they haven't bothered me since. Then you know that that person is going to respond to aggression with aggression. So you want to ask questions, not what would you do if, but instead, what have you done when, and how did that work out for you? Basically using the 3 steps. Tell me about the problem, how you initially reacted to that problem, and then what you did to solve that problem, or how it eventually turned out. In doing so, you will be like a psychic. You'll be able to predict future behavior, because the best prediction of future behavior is what? Past behavior. And that is the 3-step behavior predictor process. Or you could go to Disneyland. And the odds of them choosing Disneyland dramatically is crazy. The point is, there are many